Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing, man? It's Anelli here.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How we doing? Matt Antonelli here. So it's that time of year, over the last couple of weeks, where I get tons and tons and tons of questions from high school players saying, Matt, my tryouts are coming up, my high school tryouts are coming up. What do I got to do? What's some advice? Okay, this is one, I'm going to say this, and people always make fun of me. I say this is one of the biggest questions I've been getting lately. Everyone says that everything is the biggest question I've been getting lately. But honestly, this really is. For Massachusetts, for our state, high school tryouts are coming up in a couple of days, all right? And for the rest of the country down south, you guys have probably already played like 47 games already because it's been nice and sunny out there, and it actually has been amazing weather up here. But still, we start coming up in a couple of days. But maybe you're have Little League tryouts or any tryouts. This can go for anything. I think this is good advice for any tryout that you want to go to, okay? Couple things. First thing, this may sound simple, but I can tell from these messages and these emails and comments and everything that I get. When it comes to tryouts, okay, it's too late to be like, okay, what do I got to work on now? Tryouts are in a couple days, all right? And I go through this all the time. I give lessons throughout the year, and I always notice, what do you think's the biggest week of lessons every single year? You guessed it, it's this week, the week before high school tryouts, because everyone is trying to cram in all their lessons and trying to get all their work in. Now, I understand some players might be playing other sports. Maybe they're playing basketball or hockey or skiing or wrestling or whatever they're doing. They're like, man, I got to get back into baseball shape. I got to get going. But my advice to you, and I know right now this might not be helpful to you, but think about it next year, is that you have to start preparing before the day before, right? It's just like a test. You can't go and try to cram everything the day before a test and think that you're going to retain it and do well on the test. You have to slowly build your way up, and you'll remember a lot more stuff if you do it early. Start early, don't wait till the last minute and cram. It's the same thing with training. You can't go the day before and think, well, if I take 10,000 swings today, well, that'll basically be like I hit all winter long because I'm going to equal that amount of swings that I would have taken all winter in one day. Well, it doesn't work like that. First of all, you can't take 10,000 swings. Your hands will probably fall off. But it just doesn't work that way. As a player, when I was playing, I always felt like, I wanted to slowly build it up, and I felt like doing a lot was much better than doing a little. So I don't want to do a lot for one day or 2 days. I want to do a little bit for a bunch of days, okay? So keep that in mind going forward. Try to build it up and don't try to cram the last second. I've never found that to be very helpful for me as a player. Second thing, when you get the tryouts, I know this can be difficult, but however good you are, whatever skill level you have, when you show up to tryouts, that is you, okay? And hopefully you trained well enough to prepare yourself for that moment, but that's going to be you. You can't try to do any more. You can't try to be any better of a player than you are that day, right then and there at tryouts. So whatever ability you have, whatever skill level you have, play to your best ability. 100% of whatever you have on that day. Don't try to do any more. I see this happen a lot with players. They get the tryouts, and all of a sudden, they think that they're going to be Derek Jeter out there. And they put so much pressure on themselves to try to impress everybody, instead of just playing their game, that they don't do well, right? Then they start getting nervous. Oh man, everyone's watching me. What are these coaches thinking about me? You have to do the best that you can at being able to just focus on whatever the task is at hand. Whatever the drill calls for, that's all you focus on. So when coach says, okay, we're going to hit you 5 ground balls here, 2 at you, 1 to your left, 1 to your right, and a slow roller, well, when you get that ball hit to you, you say to yourself, you put yourself in position, and all you're focused on is the ball and making the play. I'm not thinking about the ball I got before. I'm not thinking about what I have to do next. I'm not thinking about what the coaches around the field are thinking about me. I'm not thinking about what my parents are thinking. That just clouds your brain, and you start thinking about, you want to stay in the present as much as you can, okay? You can't think about the past, and you can't think about the future, all right? You start thinking about the future, you're going to get anxious. You start thinking about the past, you're going to get, if you didn't do something well, you're going to start to get upset, you're going to get depressed. If you think about the present, you'll be able to focus and your emotions won't get the best of you, all right? So focus on the present, just on the task at hand. It is very, very important. And if you take every single drill and every single rep, just focusing on that one rep and not worrying about what it looks like or what people are thinking about it, you'll have a much, much better chance of being successful. I hear that so much from players that, oh man, I just got nervous. I got out there and I just froze up, or I practiced so well, but when it came time to do it in tryouts, I just couldn't do it. I was thinking too much, okay? So just focus on the present. I got a message today from someone. This is what actually spurred me to do this, is someone said, you know, should I shave my face? Should I cut my hair? Should I make sure I'm in good shape? I wanna make sure that everyone sees that I look. I think they actually said it'll make me look more projectable, like I look younger than maybe I really am. Listen, I don't know about. I've never gone to a tryout as a coach and been like, cut that kid, he's got a beard, or cut that guy, it looks like his hair is a little bit too long, or something like that. So I wouldn't say that has anything to do with it. I do think you want to look professional. You don't want to look like you just rolled out of bed, okay? You want to look like you're prepared. As far as your body and the shape that you're in, yeah, there's no doubt. If you look like you're in good shape, right? A coach is going to look at you and say, this he looks like he's taking it serious, right? He looks like he's been training. He didn't look like he just showed up today and found his baseball glove out of his closet, 10 minutes before tryouts and ran to the field. Like, it looks like he's taking it serious and he's prepared and he's worked for this. So I do think it's important to show up in shape. But as far as what you look like, you just want to be presentable. You want to look professional. So is that cutting your beard or not cutting your beard? I mean, I don't know. You probably don't want to show up with a, Grizzly Adams. But I don't think you have to be clean shaven. Your haircut, I mean, I don't know. Do you want to show up with hair down here? I mean, if you can really ball and you can play, then I guess it might not matter. But just look, again, professional, unless you're trying out for the Yankees, okay? They don't want they want clean shaven, they want hair above the collar. Okay, fine. Go ahead and do that. But if it's just high school, just look presentable. As far as your jersey, I always recommend wear baseball pants. Wear baseball pants, wear some type of athletic shirt depending on the weather. Don't show up in a collared shirt. I know that sounds simple, but I see some players, I coach high school, I see some players show up in collared shirts, show up in jeans right away. I mean, usually if they're doing that, then you have a pretty good idea. They're probably not a baseball person. But you do start to be like, I wonder about this guy. He showed up in a collared shirt today for tryouts. So look professional with that. Have your shirt tucked in. I know that's kind of going out of style. When I played, it was like, if you didn't have your shirt tucked in, it was a big deal. But I still always recommend tuck your shirt in. I think it looks professional. Wear a belt, okay? Have a hat on. Wear a hat and wear it straight this way. Don't put it backwards or any of that stuff, okay? Now, again, if you're a really good player, that's fine. But there's certain coaches, again, depending on your coach, he might not like that stuff. There's still a lot of old school coaches that want you to look a certain way. They want you to dress a certain way. Look like a ball player. That's what they say. Look like a ball player. All right, so definitely do that. When it comes to other stuff, be the first guy in line or be one of the first guys in line. I hate to see the guy that goes way in the back, okay? Show that you want to be there and show that you're confident in your ability and you're confident to step up in the front of the line and lead the group. I think that's really, really important, okay? Coaches are always looking for separators for players. So at tryouts, depending on where you're trying out, there might be tons and tons of kids. Like at our high school, there's 100 kids out there, all right? And so a lot of times, it's easy to identify the 10 players that are studs and the 10 players that don't know how to catch or throw, right? Those are easy, but when you're looking at the middle, there's going to be a group of kids in the middle that are very similar when it comes to talent. So you're trying to find something that separates the players. And sometimes that can be personality, work ethic, the way you approach the game, the way you communicate with your coaches, all that stuff. And so coaches are looking at that and they're taking notes on it. So if you're the guy in the front of the line and you're taking a leadership position, taking command of the drill, that stands out to me. Versus the guy that I continually see in the back of the line, he's always looking around nervous like he doesn't know what he's doing. Don't be that guy. Get in the front of the line. When you're transitioning from places, run. Okay, don't walk. Never walk on a field, especially at tries. You might not be lazy, but that just looks lazy to me, okay? So at least jog, a good jog. You don't have to sprint, okay? You don't have to be like a 100-meter dash, okay? You don't want to also make it look like you're, the teacher's pet or whatever you want to call it either. But just move around with some energy. Be excited to be there. Show the coaching staff that you want to be there, okay? So jog from line to line. If coach needs anything set up, be the guy that set things up. If he says, hey, a lot of times coaches say, okay, we need the ball buckets at first and third. We need the L screens out. We need the turtle pulled up. We need whatever. We need the bases here. be the guy that goes and does that. Don't be the guy that just lets everyone else do it and you go sit down for a water break, okay? Be that guy, because again, those can be the separators. If you have the exact same talent as someone else, or it's very, very similar, well, who are we going to go to? And I've been in a lot of coaches meetings where we talk about it, and I'm like, man, these guys are really, really close, but this kid looks like he really wants it, looks like he's excited to be out here. And this guy over here won't shut up. Okay, that's another thing. Let me say, don't talk with your buddies. I suggest you stay away from your buddies, okay? So if you've got your best friend and you think that he's going to distract you and you're going to talk to him a lot, go to a different group. Go someplace else. Because I see a lot of times at practice when I'm talking, guys, there's certain guys at a tryout, they're talking to their buddies while coach is talking. That is a big no-no. When coach talks, look him in the eye, zip your mouth, listen with your eyes. That's really big for coaches. I want to see you looking at me. If you're doing this and I'm talking and you're doing that, in my mind, you're not listening. You might be listening, but you're not showing me you're listening, all right? So listen, do not talk, pay attention, know what to do at all times, all right? Again, this is a tryout. This is what you've been working hard for, hopefully. Don't let any of these silly things cause you to not make a team if you are a good enough player, okay? So that's a bunch of things for you right there. Hopefully something there will help you out. Good luck to everyone trying out. If there's anything else that you guys can think of in the comment section below, go ahead and throw it down there. I just did all that off the top of my head, so I'm sure I forgot something. But definitely put it down there. And that's all I've got. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Thank you to our patrons who support us on Patreon. And that's all we have. We'll talk to you later.